Hi.
Um,
So I had a question. So basically, the thing is, as I said, I mean, I was the person who asked the question about the fact that I had done a 2-year training contract in the UK and then working at another firm now. Now, when I reached out to my previous firm and the supervisors who were there, asking for a reference, the response I got was that we can't give personal references, but you can get a sort of 2-line letter saying, yes, this person worked in this law firm from X date to Y date, and they did these 4 seats of the training contract. So the question, it was quite interesting what you said about people not being SRA qualified lawyers not being able to hold back. Is there any guidance on that I can probably go back to them on that basis, saying that, look, I mean, I've obviously done a 2-year training contract here. The least you can do is help me out instead of giving me a 2-liner, and which I don't know how helpful that would be for the SRA to determine my qualifying work experience.
well, there's a specific process to follow to confirm qualifying work experience, which is that you would need, if you haven't already got it, to create your SRA profile on the SRA website, and then you would speak to someone in the firm. They would hopefully agree. You would then get their SRA number, and you would put in on your My SRA profile the name of the organization, the start date and the end date of the QWE period, how many months full-time equivalent that came to, and then search for that solicitor using their SRA number. That will prompt the SRA website to email them to say that they're the confirming solicitor for you for that period. Please, could they click on the link to go and confirm your qualifying work experience, which they do. It's very straightforward. They're ticking a box. Then you would get an email saying your period of qualifying work experience has been confirmed. So for them, it's really light touch, but it's very specific. So a general letter of reference will be no use at all. It needs to follow that process. So if they refuse to do that without good reason, then ring up SRA Ethics and tell them. I my phone off, so I can't tell you the number, but that's pretty easy for you to look up on the SRA website. They actually, I think, have an option on their menu specifically for this. That's what you do, and they would ask you for your SRA number, because obviously you've got one because you've created your My SRA profile, and they'll talk you through it. It is a bit of a nuclear option, but you can use that as leverage to get them to do that. You say, why are you refusing? Oh, well, we don't like this newfangled SQE thing. And so, okay, do you realize, and then I've just told you, the attitude of the SRA about this. Now there's another option that you could say, okay, if you're refusing to do that, will you at least let me get an external solicitor to confirm my qualifying work experience? Either you pay for it, or indeed I, the aspiring solicitor, pay for it. Alternatively, I'll have to go to the SRA and complain about you. And then you've got a number of options in front of them. You've given them every chance. So, I mean, that's generally what I say when people are in a situation like that, being refused. But as I said, the nuclear option, go to the SRA. Obviously, I could do the external confirming should they cooperate. If they say, oh, well, we couldn't let an external solicitor see our confidential client stuff, okay, confirm it yourselves. That's option number 1, which is the straightforward one. Oh, we don't like doing that. Okay, so you blocked off all the other avenues. I have to complain about you to the SRA.
Okay, no, so my question, so do I understand this correctly then? So instead of that reference letter where they have to give, where they say that, this person has the right character, etc., whatever, all they need to do is literally, when I select the name, just click something. So they don't have to actually give me a 1-page reference letter with confirming my start date, etc.
That's correct. Now, remember, this is only about confirming the qualifying work experience of someone who is not qualified. This is,
I'm talking about the SQE2 exemption.
Quite different for someone who is qualified and is applying for exemption from the SQE2. So I don't want people to get...
Sorry, my question was in relation to the second bit, the SQE2 exemption.
If it's to do with the SQE2 exemption and they refuse to do that, I don't know of any sanction, because the SRA will probably say, well, the fallback is you take the exam. Because they, you know, in most circumstances, this is what I've come across anyway, this is for foreign qualified lawyers. Their supervisor is either not a lawyer or they're a foreign qualified lawyer. So the SRA has no power and control over them whatsoever. If your supervisor happens to be an SRA regulated solicitor, then ring up the SRA and explain it to them, and maybe they'll get involved. But that's unusual for me to come across that.